Hey everybody, it is Saturday afternoon and I just finished putting some plants in a few of my tanks. I collected them out at Prettyboy Reservoir yesterday, and in fact I'm going to be heading back out there again in a little while. I don't know if you can hear that faint noise in the background. If you listen real carefully you can hear it. Did you hear it? There it was again and again. Well, I don't know if you can hear it or not, but that is the sound of fish calling my name out at Prettyboy Reservoir. Dan, come catch us. So I will be out there for the rest of the day, and I wanted to go ahead and get a look at these tanks before I go out and possibly collect even more plants. I actually didn't find all the stuff I was looking for yesterday, so if I come across any of that stuff that looks kind of like a nacris, I'm going to go ahead and collect up some of that too. But in the meantime, this is what we've done. I took some of that real feathery looking stuff and I futilely planted it in this tank. I don't think it's going to last very long at all before that tilapia and those silver dollars make short work of it. But it looks okay. I've got a lot of water circulation in this tank, so no matter how it grows, it's going to be sort of flowing and swirling in one direction or the other. I also planted some of that sort of crinkly leaf looking plant. I wasn't able to grab very much of that. I apparently didn't bring very much of that home, but I did plant a little bit of it. And we'll see how well that survives. That actually has a feel of a little bit tougher of a leaf. It doesn't feel tough like Anubias or Java fern, but it feels tough enough that the fish may tend to leave it alone a little bit, especially with all the water sprite they've got to eat. And of course, they've also got that new, whatever that stuff is. It looks like Cobamba to me, but I doubt it actually is. The other stuff I've got that was real long and spindly. I mean, these are some of the, that's the end I would plant. You haven't even got to the end that I would plant yet. There we go. So that's the end that I would plant. And way down here would be where the, obviously I don't have to plant all that. I could cut it off right here and then just have that much. But then what do we have? We have these little plants that just kind of do that across the surface. And I don't know. I'm not going to throw them away just yet, but I'm not entirely excited with the way they look. I suppose if I were to make a little bit of room in the center section here, it's just a little bit crowded right now. It's got a little bit of water sprite in there, kind of blocking out some of the area where other plants might be able to grow. So I don't know, I could do something with that. And then of course I've got this end of the tank as well. And normally I don't have the water flowing in like that. Normally the water level is way up above this line here, and you just see the circulation. You don't actually see that flow of water coming in. It's just been a while since I've been in here doing any tank maintenance. I need to do a big water change and fill the tank back up and top it off completely. So that's all I've done to my New World tank. Thought about putting something in here, but decided that's already crowded enough. Likewise with my 55-gallon tank, don't really know where I would put something in here. I guess maybe I could try to put something in the middle, kind of growing up in between the two giant Anubias plants in there. But I don't know, we'll have to wait and see how that goes. I did plant more of that Cobamba looking feathery stuff over here in my Gourami tank. Once again, I'm sure that will be a futile gesture. I'm down to 2 Gouramis in this tank. I have my Moonlight there, and then I have this little honey Gourami you just saw disappear into the back there. She's back there somewhere. So I've got the 2 Gouramis. I don't think any of the fish in the tank are real plant eaters. I do have the 2 Siamese algae eaters in there, and they do nibble a little bit, but they seem to nibble more on algae than they do on the actual plant material. And yes, I know this one does have a big bulged out eye on the right hand side. You can see it right there pretty clearly. It's been like that for a while. No idea what caused it to bulge out, but it's been like that for a while. And I was hoping it was just some minor infection or something that would go away, and it has yet to. So I'm not really sure whether I should do something about that or not, but we'll have to talk about that in another video, because this one is about all the plants I've put in my tank. So I've done that. We already covered the New World tank. And then I planted a fair amount of that feathery looking stuff in here, which I think looks really good. I'm really happy with the way that looks. And this tank generally doesn't have a lot of circulation around the surface. So you can see when the plants, like my Ludwigia here, grows up from the bottom and reaches the surface, it's able to do pretty good once it gets to the surface. The only difference is when I fill the tank all the way up, my hang on the back here actually causes the water to flow across the surface here pretty quickly. I'm actually thinking about putting some sort of deflector on that. I want the water to get sucked in here, you know, to help pull the mulm and stuff out, and I do want the circulation of the water just so it gets oxygenated and keeps, you know, turning over. Although I would say that, you know, the water flowing down from up there and running all the way down through my waterfall before it gets into the tank is going to give me fairly well oxygenated water, and then of course it gets pumped out way down here at the bottom and pumped back up to the top. So oxygenation shouldn't really be an issue for me. The main reason I like to have this one running is this intake actually picks up some of the mulm. It's amazing how dirty that filter gets and how quickly it gets dirty. But I don't need the water flowing across the surface. What I need is something blocking the water there so that I have a fairly still surface, and then this, whatever it's called, somebody's going to have to figure out what that's called for me or identify it for me so I can stop calling it that whatever it's called plant. If I call it that too many more times, that's just what it's going to be called from now on in my mind. So there you go. There's the first look at what I've got in my tanks. I've got some of that other stuff that's a little, I don't know, I've said it before, it's all scraggly looking. It's just, it almost looks like it's dying off as it's growing. And it's an interesting native plant, and if I was trying to do some native biotope, then it might be one that I would add. But I'm looking for something to be interesting and attractive and eye-catching, and that stuff is not it. So again, if I find any of that anacris looking stuff, I will try to collect up some of that today. I might even get some video of it, you never know. And then other than that, I can't really think of any other plants I might want to put in the tank. I did bring home one that's unusual looking. When I shot the video last night out on the water, and I came home this morning, we went in and we had a look at them out in the fish tank out on the back porch. I didn't show you the one that I was looking for. It's sort of spindly and green and sort of looks like a pine tree. Really interesting looking, but I'm not sure what I can do with it, and I only was able to collect a few small pieces of it. So now that I'm aware of it, I may try to collect up some more of that today too, and if I can get a significant enough amount of it, maybe we'll have, you know, another little section of green in here or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But make sure you subscribe. That way you won't miss that or anything else I've got coming up. You never know what it's going to be with me. And then hopefully we can also get some you know, aquatic type plants or marshy marginal type plants that can deal well with sort of wet, sloppy conditions, and we will get something going on in here and kind of cover up all that ugliness. My bird's nest fern is doing absolutely fantastic. That thing is just taking off. I'm loving it. So, all right, everybody. As I said, make sure you subscribe. You won't miss anything I got coming up. You never know what it's going to be with me, and hopefully it's all going to be good stuff. So don't forget, this one here is my 40-gallon waterfall tank. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you real soon on the next one.